Welcome to the Game Informer Show, a weekly video game podcast releasing every Thursday. Is it Thursday already? Damn. I am your host, Alex Stadnick, joined always with the illustrious Alex Van Aken.
Hello. I feel like this episode is going to be one of the greatest of all time. I have a feeling in my gut. 10 out of 10. Yeah, across the board. Yeah, it's going to be great.
I can dig it. Join us each episode alongside a rotating crew of GI editors and special guests from around the industry as we discuss the latest news, reviews, and big man swag your eyes and ears can handle.
Wait, do you have that written down?
Me? No, it's always off the cuff, Ben. Got that locked in, you know.
Yeah, nice job.
That's why I appreciate Alex's riffing, because it gives me time to look at my notes and then come back to it. But little trade secret there. This week, we're going to talk about the only two things that matters. Number one, you heard his voice. You know him. You love him. The street comedian is with us only for a little bit longer. We're going to talk to Ben Reeves about his future. And then, of course, we're going to talk about Elden Ring, the big one. But first, let's introduce the panel. Of course, like I said, Ben Reeves. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hello. This is the last time I get to say that.
Yeah,
I never say hello ever again.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah.
I'm dying after this episode.
Yeah, we never knew you.
Oh, that's the news. Crap.
That's why we're going to lunch after this. Yeah,
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Getting a heart attack burger.
I'm gonna escort you to your casket after this. It's gonna be great. We also have Elden Ring himself, Dan Tack. Hello, sir. How are you?
Are we gonna make that a thing? Please,
You
let's
better
not
believe
make
it.
that.
You
Let's
kidding
not make
me?
that a thing. Can we go with the jacket or whatever? It's fine. Hello, everyone. Yeah.
You know what? You bristled with Duckmaster, King of Anime. Like, I can't give you a name with saying no.
Yeah,
You'd
we got a
rather
lot of
be
good
known
ones.
as a jacket than one of your favorite games of all time? Or like, what's wrong with you, man?
I want to, at least that's my identity. I don't, it's attaching
True.
the game. Whatever. It's fine. It's a great game. Let's go.
Dan, I like your hat this week, by the way. It looks very cool. I don't know what it's for,
Thank
but
you.
I dig it.
No, nobody's gonna know. All right, I guess I'll reveal the secret. This is actually a band hat. As you may know, I'm big into synthwave and retro wave kind of things. This is Gunship. They're great. Check them out.
Sweet.
Gunship.
I dig it.
I thought you meant band, like BANNED. Like you were on some like Michael
I'm
Jordan,
band,
like
yo.
red and black kicks. Yeah.
They're coming after me.
Yeah. They don't want you to see my my hat. Anyways, of course, JRPG also joins us for a rare but awesome appearance. Hello, buddy. How are you?
I'm good. I whipped out the bling since we got Ben here.
I saw the chain.
I dressed for the occasion, man. Yeah. So.
Yeah, what band is that from?
Oh, you know what? actually, I am wearing like a shirt. I don't even know if you can, but it's Evangelion. Evangelion. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, all right. That's some cultured people in here. All right.
That's sick. Well, fun fact, real quick. Yeah. For some ungodly reason, it was my middle school. My middle school carried copies of the Evangelion manga. So I was in 6th grade reading Evangelion.
That's amazing.
You should not be in 6th grade reading that.
Right. No, I have a similar story. My library carried a Cowboy Bebop, so I was reading Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, let's go!
And it's also not good to read.
Also doesn't seem like something.
I don't know. This sounds pretty appropriate to me. Get started early on the glory of anime.
Right.
Yeah. Man, you can't even read Mouse in Tennessee. Never mind. We're not going there. Anyways.
What is this podcast about again?
Yeah.
Video games.
Yeah, video games. We'll talk about video game here soon. But Ben Reeves has some exciting but sad news for the world. Ben, do you want to kind of talk about what's next?
Sure, yeah. I mean, the news is out there. I tweeted it out on Monday, but you guys have known for a little bit. Yeah. I am leaving Game Informer after 15 years. It's been a wild but wonderful ride, and I thank you everybody out there who's watched or listened or read the content I've helped produce. I don't know what more to say other than thank you. I am going on to the other side of the industry. I'll be on the development side, so I'm joining Firaxis, makers of XCOM and Civilization. I'm very excited because if you've listened to this podcast or read anything I've written, you probably know I'm a fan. And I'm going to be a narrative designer over there, which is something I'm also super excited and passionate about. Can't say too much more about what I'm working on, but hopefully in the near future I can share something.
Okay, gotcha. So, okay, then I won't pry on that one. I didn't know you could or couldn't say what you were working on. But
no, that's fine.
Okay. I literally can't think if you were to place Reeves at a developer, like what better one than the House of XCOM and working on a Marvel game now, like
I honestly I can't think of things I would be much more excited to work on other than maybe like a Zelda game, which what's the chances that I'll ever work on a Zelda game? Probably none. Well, so this is like I'm very, very excited for this game.
Yeah. I think I give you a pretty good shot.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
yeah,
someday.
I mean, you could. You're working
now
on XCOM now
I gotta go shoot for the stars again.
Yeah, all I'm saying, man, I've been waiting for ages for XCOM the collection to go on sale on Switch. The week that you announced this news, I got it for $5 on Amazon. So I'm just saying, you're already putting the moves, already making things happen there.
I'm already knocking it out of the park. Great. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is how it's going to be. I can get used to this, right?
Yeah. I think what I'm looking forward to most is playing, whether it's Midnight Suns or whatever comes next with Firaxis, and just like hearing such a Reevesian joke. I'm like, oh, that has to be Ben. Like, there's no one else who would make that joke.
Just everything funny is something I did. Yeah, I'll just
that's what I'll think. Yeah. Is there any way to quantify? Is there any way for you to like look back at your experience 15 years at GI and say what it means? Like, have you reflected on that? Have you thought about that?
I have thought about, what is some of the favorite stuff I've produced. So if people want to like look back at stuff like the Man on the Street videos we did, stuff like do people know what the Wii U is? I think that was our first one, but stuff like that, or who makes Call of Duty. Those are some fun videos to look back at. Some of the rapid fires I did, the one with Miyamoto and Enuma especially is a cherished memory. I've written some cover stories that I'm pretty proud of, like the Mega Man 11 one, or more recently, Deathloop. I was pretty proud of that one. So that's some content to, I guess, if you're for whatever reason want to ingest my content. But I think that's fun stuff. And just, I got an opportunity to host a podcast for a little over a year, and that was fun, and interview a bunch of devs. So I don't know how you would encapsulate my time at GI, because it feels like it was constantly morphing and changing along with the industry. Because when I started, the first Mass Effect hadn't even come out yet. We were all excited for that. Like, that was the release of the PlayStation 3 was coming out when I started. So it's been wild and it's been fun.
Yeah, most definitely. Jeez. Yeah. And you've had other impacts too, like with the I don't know if you spearheaded the internship program, but when we did interns, you were a big part of that, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So I guess more internally speaking, one of my favorite things that I've done over the years is just helping shape and edit people's work and help other people become, I think, better writers. So some of that has been with the internship program. As you mentioned, some of it has been spearheading the reviews section more recently. So stuff like Dan's Elden Ring review, I was first pass on that. I kind of helped. Dan maybe has a different side of the opinions, like, damn you for all these edits, but I think, helping helping shape our editorial voice and just become better communicators across the board.
Yeah, definitely.
And so I'm just going to keep throwing things on there. One of the more fun things I've done recently is the Video Gameography podcast with Marcus, which is our history podcast where we explore video games. We're finishing it off with Uncharted, which is one of my favorite series. Go listen to it. Marcus has big, grand plans for the future of that podcast, which will continue without me.
Yeah. So I was so Marcus is taking over as the lead, right? But is the core of it going to stay similar, or is he a wild child and we're going to see what happens with it?
He's a wild card. You never know. I don't fully know what his plans are. I think he's going to tinker with the formula maybe a little bit, and you'll expect new voices. He'll continue to have awesome guests. But he will continue it, and he's told me a little bit about what he's planning, and I'm excited. I am genuinely excited to listen to the next series that they do after Uncharted.
Okay, so you are going to finish out with what, Lost Legacy?
Yeah, it's a good question. So this coming Saturday, which if you haven't, maybe you're listening to this on Saturday. I don't know. We're dropping Uncharted 3. That's my last official one as host, but then I will sort of be a guest on Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy, and then and then hopefully maybe someday come back as a guest for other things. Who knows?
Yeah. For sure. We'll have you on for, I'm sure. Whoa, we could do, there's potential in the future to do a rapid fire with Ben Reeves.
You.
This is getting really meta right now.
Yeah.
Yo, let's go.
And then you should just have me interview, like I could ask the questions.
Oh my God, yes, that would be incredible.
There was,
oh my goodness.
I didn't mention replays. Replay was fun. There was an era when Leo Vader was here writing all the replay skits, and we were doing a video of me just Reeves play where I was in all 4 chairs playing in the game, and that almost broke my brain, I think. Trying to like talk to myself and remember like, what did I say the first time we recorded this, and then trying to do the second loop and talk to myself back. Yeah, it was weird.
That's incredible. I don't know if I've seen that one or not. Do you have a favorite like E3 PAX memory, like any of that from your time here?
I mean, they're all great. Again, interviewing legendary developers. I remember interviewing Peter Molyneux once. It was just like me and him in a room, and there's no PR. I was like, this is weird. To just can chat about anything. Or the times I've met again Miyamoto or Sid Meier, who I guess I'll be working with now, which is weird. It's just like, here, I met these legendary developers. That was always fun. Seeing the show floor is obviously amazing and fun. I think just even like my first E3 show up, and you'd go up to like, here's a party afterwards. I'm just like, hey, I'm with Game Informer, and they're like, oh, Mr. Reeves, just come right in. And it's just like people already knew who I was, which was kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. And you were like, no, Dr. Bobby Reeves.
That's right. Yeah, I did early on when I was a younger, more foolish man. I did sign up as Dr. Ben Reeves. Bobby Reeves is a different thing. But yeah, I signed up as Dr. Reeves for a few E3s.
That's incredible. You're a legend, sir. No, you have, speaking from Jay and my perspective, right, as interns, right, you've been nothing but a positive light for us, and I know I'm better working with you, and I'm gonna miss you, man. It's
thanks,
been
man.
It's been a lot of fun. So
yeah, and you know what? I'll always think of you as an intern. It makes you feel better.
That means the world to me. It was weird when you asked me to get your coffee when we were doing work from home, but it is what it is.
Still waiting on that, by the way.
yeah, I'll be right over. Don't worry. So. But yeah, you'll fans at home, this won't be the last you see of Dr. Bobby Reeves. Doors always open for you whenever you want to come back on the podcast. I don't know what your restrictions are for that, but yeah, one of the best to ever do it at GI. So
thanks, man. Appreciate it, and thanks for everybody. I got a lot of well wishes when I posted on Twitter on Monday, so I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for the support. Yeah, I hope you enjoy what I produce at Firaxis. Just the nature of how developers work, got to go quiet for a while before you can show something off. So that'll be weird, but I'm excited to do that. Excited to try my hand at that.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, I don't have a good segue for that. I'm still tired of feeling a little emotional. It's okay.
How would you score the podcast so far? Like, how would you score what we've been doing?
I would definitely say, I don't know if I can give another 10. We've already given a 10 this week.
Oh, we did?
To a certain game called Elden Ring, the little indie title from FromSoftware. I don't know if you've heard of this. Greatest things since sliced bread, apparently. Dan Tack, this is where I shut up and you do your thing. Oh. How the hell is Elden Ring?
Well, I mean, you can check out the review on the site. It is a 10 out of 10. I would have scored it higher if I could, but we don't have that number system.
Hold on. What would you have scored this game if 10 wasn't?
Let's go higher. Why not an 11?
Oh,
I've played 10s, but we can only go so high. You know what I mean? So here we are.
I feel like we're a broken record here a little bit, because from the cover story and from all of y'all's video coverage, which you should go check out, youtube.com/Game Informer, you kind of hinted and intimated like, this is something different, right? There's like you just said, there's 10s and then there's this, but you actually got to play through the full thing. You beat it, which you're goddamn stud for that.
Whoa.
Like what is it that elevates this past the normal from fare?
I mean, the design. This is basically taking all the best things of everything that they've learned and accomplished over the last decade of games. So since Demon Souls essentially, and putting them in one package that is all of their best accomplishments ever in the same place together. The pinnacle of every kind of aspect, from design to art, all coming together to form something that is completely transformative in nature. The exploration is completely unknown to me from any other experience in an open world game. And I've played Breath of the Wild, I've played some really incredible open world games, but nothing feels like it does here, where all the elements come together from music to animations to art to every area and every experience you have in that game. And it's also personalized. My journey is going to be different than your journey and different than Alex's journey. We're going to do things in different orders. I'm going to find things he didn't find. He's going to find things I didn't find. And that's always been a really cool part about the From games, is coming together with the community to discover shared secrets. And I know I found some stuff that I don't think a lot of other people have yet, and I can't wait for them to see, because it's incredible. The best stuff that I did find was not on Critical Path.
Mm-hmm.
And it contains the best boss battle in FromSoftware's games, which makes it the best boss battle ever. Wow. Think about that. This is like let's story time. I was cracking up against this fight for about an hour and a half, 1 a.m. ish. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do the Souls thing and reset myself. This is clearly the hardest fight in this game, hardest fight in any FromSoftware game, best fight in any FromSoftware game. Immaculate and beautiful and terrifying all at once. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed, wake up refreshed, grab a water, and when and done when I wake up. You're right. Instead, I was sitting there just laying in bed going like, all right, hang on. I got it. I just like come rushing out of bed, get back up in my jammies, and I'm like, you're going down, you name I'm not gonna mention. And it's just like
George R.R. Martin.
The fight is so freaking epic. Okay, I cannot. It just sounds silly for me to say that, but here I am, a grown man in my PJs, fighting off against the biggest fight of my life, at 3 a.m. And it got done. It's like it is the Souls Triumph experience times whatever. It's a new level.
Did you need to change your pajamas afterwards?
That's why I'm gonna miss you, Reeves.
That's why they call them PJs.
I did sit there for a minute though and just be like, well, wait, now what, right? I wanted another one. I wanted to do it again right away, and you can't do that, silly. So
I ask, what does a Dan Tack pajama look like? Is it just like silk robes with the wolf from Dark Souls 1 on it?
I do have a robe. There are no wolves on it. I do tend to walk around with a robe. I'll show it to you sometime, Alex.
That fits. Oh, yeah. I've seen it. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There are no wolves on it though.
Okay.
But I think that experience right there really speaks to. I've never done that before in any of the other FromSoftware games. I've never done any game. Just like sitting there in the middle of the night, being like, I really want to go tackle that again. Not because it was like and people are gonna hinge like with a lot of these games, people are gonna hinge on difficulty. But this fight is just beautiful in its design and construction, and all of the elements of it coming together. It is the best one of these kind of fights they've ever done, and they're really good at these. The best boss fights in video game history are in FromSoftware games with this kind of experience, and they one-upped their own game with this. This is just one example. For example, let me talk about how this fight was different in another sense. To get there, you had to solve a secret that takes you to another area, in which you have to solve another secret to even unlock this gigantic dungeon where this boss is in. So that to me is Elden Ring. Going somewhere and finding things. And I know that sounds like some you find everything doing shrines in Zelda or whatever. It's not like that. It's you are in this world. You are an entity in this world with your own agency to go wherever and do whatever, and it's not going to like lead you there. It's not going to say, "Hey, buddy, you gotta go do that thing next."
Yeah.
No, how active is the open world, Dan? Because I know a lot of open world games. When you think of those today, you think of like the Far Cry formula, the Assassin's Creed, just a bunch of dots on a map full of here's a mini side quest. Are there side quests, or is the world? Do you interact with the world differently than that?
there are multiple endings and side quests and different experiences you can have. It's not a dynamic open world, right? You're not going to go someplace and it's going to be different than going to at a different time. But it is not a breadcrumb basket. There are for those players, I feel like some players could have been completely overwhelmed by how open it is and without any guidance. I know some players really don't like that, and it can feel very overwhelming. So there is like a very loose, like, go in this direction if you want to find the next main story beat. They have that for you. Other than that, you will not receive any kind of like quest markers or big flashing lights or anything like that. While there are many quests to do and NPCs to interact with, more than any of their other games, they will not put blinking lights on the board. There are a few exceptions where people will mark things on your map. Very few. You have free reign. One of the first things I did was try to sequence break the game at a bunch of different junctures. You know me. That's what I like to do. Probe the walls. And guess what? Almost every single time, I found an alternate way to get somewhere. There's one major boss in the game that you can get to without even doing their dungeon. They have a full-fledged legacy dungeon that you can go through. You might not even find there's at least 3 ways to get to that boss that I know of. And I'm sure there's more. There is an incredible breadth and depth of just like, how do I want to tackle this? It's not just I'm going to go over here and do this activity and get a reward. And you might think that going in. I know people during the early stuff, even the really great early stuff we saw, like, oh, that catacombs is like 2 rooms with a couple of imps in it and a treasure at the end. Later on, those catacombs and tombs and stuff, they are much more advanced. You will have to use your noggin to figure out how to get through to get those rewards. And they might even lead you to new areas. Maybe the catacombs doesn't end with a treasure box. Maybe it ends by going out into a whole new area or another way to get to an area that you hadn't seen before. These are not like constructed, designy activities, right? It's not tower here, horde mode here, other thing here, checkpoint here. It feels natural. Sure, if we think about it in game design terms, all these elements can be boiled down to that. But you never feel like that when you're in the game. You feel like you are on an adventure, and you are. You are, baby.
Yeah. So to me, honestly, like this sounds kind of overwhelming. Is it that purposeful design that keeps it from being too much, right? Or what is it? What's the secret sauce there that makes it like manageable?
It is too much, and that's what makes it awesome. I took notes, and I think you should too, actually, if you're going to play this. There are a lot of great markers you can put on your map for like points of interest and things you see in the distance. You know, if you can see it, you can go there. You can mark it. But if you find yourself in mysterious places, try to like write down how you got there, just in case you need to come back there later to replicate that.
Got it.
Because otherwise, you might find yourself like, I don't think people realize how big this game is. It's enormous, and you can find yourself halfway across a world, and then realize, you know what? There's that thing at that place that maybe might have some interesting interactions with this other thing I'm doing right now.
Be too detailed.
I don't want to be. This journey, like the temptation to spoil a lot of these things is there for sure. But this game, the one word that if I want to use that other than adventure, which is fitting, would be discovery. And I don't want to take that away from anybody as they go through this. This is an experience that you only get to have once. And I regret that immensely. Having, I'll never get to fight that one boss again for the first time.
Yeah.
How's the moment-to-moment action? Like a lot of people decry FromSoftware games as being hard games, and I think you're on the side of not as so hard as they're just very deliberate. You got to be intentional with every attack and be cautious and aware of your surroundings. Is the moment-to-moment, is it kind of what we expect from games at this point? Is there something new to the action?
You'll definitely be challenged. How much you want to be challenged is kind of up in the player's hands. Like I said, that fight that I was talking about, that's optional and locked away. You do not need to ever engage with that battle. And I think the core fans are going to be the ones who seek that one out. Critical Path, you've got all kinds of options from multiplayer to the fact that it is an open world. If you get stuck, go somewhere else. You got a lot of places to go. You're going to get much bigger and more powerful and unlock many more options by exploring. And you're encouraged to do so. I know people, I didn't want to take on any of the major bosses right away. I just wanted to go and see everywhere I could go. And I found some sequence breaking there to get me past areas I probably wasn't supposed to be in. And I just kept going. You can just keep going. It is a world that begs to be explored. It does play differently than other games, like the other From games, in terms of how it engages with the player. And I know the concept of it being hard is often, unfortunately, the only topic that comes up when these games are discussed. And we neglect to discuss many of the other incredible elements. This game is completely breathtaking.
The action is basically the same. It's like very deliberate combat.
The action, it's deliberate combat, and I think in this game specifically, in direct comparison, as you wanted to the other games, you have many more customization options in this one because of the way they've lined up the new systems. You can take one ability from one weapon, stick it on another weapon. You can take the stat scaling on one weapon, put it on another weapon. So you can create the sword of your dreams, or you could make this has more class customization and diversity than any of their games on a scale of magnitude that has not been even touched yet. You can make your own choose your own adventurer for your choose your own adventure here.
Do you find, because like one of my favorite parts of y'all's Super Replay with Marcus was his inability to let go of the shield in Demon Souls, right?
That was so fun.
It was, yeah. Is there a path for poor Marcus in this game if he wants to do like a sword and shield versus big man club running in and just annihilating everything?
At one point in time, I was running around with a giant anchor I was swinging around. They have everything.
So shield builds are very viable. Marcus was just playing shield wrong. Okay, there's a big difference there. And I knew we were never going to get anywhere the way he was. I mean, he was using a dex blade with a strength build. I mean, that's not a good idea.
What an idiot, right, guys?
So all we did was give him a strength sword. No. We're just gonna. Yeah, you can even run dually shields in this game. I think there are builds for that. Like you can actually just dual wield shields and use shield arts if you want. I think that's a viable build. You can certainly shield builds everything is viable in its own way, and people are gonna have fun messing around with the most absurd items and weapons and stuff, especially as people find the more unique stuff. Like there's some really. I don't want to say out of place because this is a fantasy world of epic proportions, but there's some stuff you might be surprised by what kind of tools you'll have access to.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, is this guy crazy?
Which one, him?
This, haven't you?
Yeah, I've
all of his.
I mean, I agree, and this is coming from the perspective, right, of someone who has little to no experience with Soulsborne games. A long time ago, not really a long time, a couple months ago, I tweeted that I was going to hop into Sekiro, I think. I don't know if y'all remember that. I remember tweeting I was going to hop into that.
Tweet?
The tweet. It's like probably my most popular tweet ever. But I hopped into it's like 11 likes or something. But I was like, I'm going to play Sekiro. And I remember Dan said you should play Bloodborne first. I
definitely never ever recommend Sekiro to play first.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you were just like play Bloodborne first. I was like, yeah. So I played Sekiro anyway, and that didn't go well. So then I went to play Bloodborne, and I'm not gonna lie, that didn't go well either. And that's not on those games. Those games I played like maybe an hour of each, and I thought they were both incredible. It was definitely on me. But I knew that Dan was super excited about Elden Ring, and even though I wasn't great at the other games, I was like, I want to try Elden Ring. I want to play it. And even I feel like this is a game we're going to be talking about forever, and I've hardly made any of the progress Dan has made. I am still working through the first boss, like 20 hours in, but it's true. Like the discovery aspect of it, you can go anywhere. And sure, that could be overwhelming. But I feel like I've never really seen like an open world designed in a way where like there are still aspects of the game that might direct you somewhere, but then you'll go to the bottom of the map and then you'll be directed to keep going that way. So it's like the story beats are really checkered throughout the map, and there's no right way to do anything. I remember I played with AVA, and I remember asking him, is there a wrong way to play this game? And immediately he was like, no. And it was like, that's awesome. That's like so cool that it can be fine tailored to my experience. True. Yeah. I mean, I've been doing that for 20 hours.
Yeah, that'll be my attack.
Yeah.
But no, it's incredible. It feels like a horror game, at least for an amateur like me. And the atmosphere is super oppressive in the best way possible. I dream about the game. You know, I don't know if that sounds ridiculous, but I do dream about it, and it's just so good. I'm really excited for people to hop in, veterans and amateurs alike. I think there's something to gain from it, even if you're not making the same progress as someone who's been playing for years, right? So,
well, and that makes me personally feel really good because I was looking forward to hear Dan talk about it, but also like if you've listened to the show, my history was from the game, and it's not much, right? It's dabbling here. It's 30 hours in Dark Souls 3, but that's pretty much it. So, I guess I pose the same question to you then, Jay, what I asked Dan earlier. Like, you as a newbie, like, is it just that palpable sense of discovery? Is that just what it's like? This is overwhelming and this is hard and I don't care. Like, is that the driving force here? Or what was it for you?
I just think there are just so many novel things around every corner, right? And sure, it's frustrating when you've accumulated a bunch of runes and you're just like, oh, but I want to like maybe just keep going to see what's around the corner, and then you just get murdered, right? And you have to like work your way back to get those things. And sure, that's frustrating, but like it feels just naturally built into the loop. At a certain point, you just have to accept the fact that if you're going to keep exploring, there's going to be danger and you're probably going to die. But it's always it's kind of fun to re-experience that and maybe come back and just be better. So yeah, I don't know. I guess after a while I did realize like, hey, this is going to be overwhelming. I don't know how to play. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's right. I'm still using like a sword and a shield because I'm scared. But like I know eventually I might not have to do that anymore, right? And I'm willing to put the hours in for that. So I think you just sort of suspend your disbelief a little bit. I think you sort of I think you just sort of accept that there's going to be so much death, like just so much, and you just kind of got to be okay with that, because if you're not okay with that, you're just going to miss out on like really a once in a generation game. It feels that way, right? And I have not even seen I feel like I haven't even seen 1% of what this game has to offer, and it feels like I need to keep playing or I'm going to miss out, Yeah.
Wow. Look at that. Also, I found your tweet. It says, gonna try Sekiro. It'll be my first FromSoftware game.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
13
likes. 13 likes.
Right? Yeah. I'm getting up there. Verified next, baby.
You'd be verified already if you play Bloodborne first.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's what we're... Okay, see, I can't get verified either. I play Bloodborne.
Yeah,
that's
how Twitter works, guys. You don't understand.
Right.
It's run by Miyazaki. Alex Van Aken.
Yes.
Look at you. Beautiful boy with the green in there. You've sat patiently listening to these fools talk about Elden Ring. Once in a generation, this, blah, 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 that. It's not Breath of the Wild, right? Is it?
It is. I'm not going to be that guy today where I compare the game to Breath of the Wild. As much as I want to, I think
Man's a co-host on a podcast as the only opportunity to do that, and he doesn't do it.
Okay. What I want to say about this game. First of all, we only had about a week with the game. So I'm like hesitant to make these sweeping statements as much as I'm just going to do it anyways.
Let's go.
Breath of the Wild is
Dan,
my favorite. Yeah. Breath of the Wild is like on any given day, like my favorite game. That and World of Warcraft. And there have been several days playing Elden Ring where I'm like, this is better than either of those. Like, I just am enjoying myself so much. It is certainly the best game I've played in the last 5 years. It is just full of curiosity. And I know it's cliche to say like there's surprises around every corner. Truly, in this game, everywhere you go, even in like the most innocuous places, you can find something that is magical. Like, and I'm watching footage right now. My footage that I captured. I put 33 hours into this game during the review process. For somebody who just does the video versions of these reviews, typically I get what I need after like 5 hours, and then I'm good to go. Elden Ring, I cannot put down. It is incredible. I love I was kind of worried going in whether or not I would resonate with the fiction and like the world itself, the lands between, because that's kind of always been a little bit a barrier for me in FromSoftware games, like just like their particular style of fantasy or the eldritch horror sort of settings, the Victorian London, you know, they were cool for sure, but didn't necessarily like tickle my fancy all the way. This game, and I don't know if it's just they've had so many years to like to work on this, and they had George R.R. Martin help create this world. I don't know what his contributions even were. Regardless, the fiction and the setting is so interesting to me. There are like, just like the background lore of the characters. Like there's one section of the game, we've talked about it in the preview coverage, about just like how there's an obsession with like grafting body parts from other tarnished, and like there's certain people in this world that are using others' body parts to become more powerful. It's like a weird, it's a, like Dan says, it's a, I think in his review says it's like a dark and twisted fantasy. And
how is that all presented to you? Because in the past, the lore that From creates is always pretty interesting, but the way they tell that story is
cryptic.
Well, I mean, the way they tell it is also very interesting in a different kind of way. Is the storytelling here a little more front facing? Is it easier to digest?
Every kind of realm has their own kind of narrative that interacts with the other realms, sort of how the key figures and players have their goals and motivations for this universe. The very big story beats are very easy to understand as you move through the game. The side tales and exactly the relationship between some characters can be more, you got to go down a rabbit hole to figure out a little bit more. So that's very traditional FromSoftware storytelling. But the main beats, like this is the main thing that you are doing on this, there are different endings. In this ending, you're doing this. In this ending, you're doing that. Those are very easy to understand, I think. But as far as getting into the exacting nature of things, it may be helpful to like go into the dialogue with characters and do specific quest chains, but each realm has its own identity, and I think it's really strong. You can tell it was like built that way. Like Limgrave is, this color scheme and this kind of feel, whereas later you'll go to like a place like, the mountain, which is very different, or the plateau. God, these
have a plateau and a mountain.
See, I've played 33 hours. I haven't even seen that. I haven't seen this mountain, Dan.
Right, and these places, they're still not even. Oh God, later. The stuff that you can get to later, my friends.
You're such a tease. I love.
But I'm not teasing. I want to keep it. I will not deny a player that first time experience of seeing these places.
Oh, that wasn't a shot. I just love it. I think my favorite part of this pre-release cycle was everyone posting their little gifs and their little memes on the timeline, and I was loving
you know what?
it.
That should tell you something, because I never do that.
No,
I get the embargo and then I don't say anything until the embargo. That's it. I don't say anything. I don't tease anything.
It felt like everyone on the timeline was doing the little Elden Ring period, because that doesn't break embargo. Right, you're not saying nothing.
It's a game name. Yeah.
I like posting random gifs.
Yeah. I'm sorry. What?
Nothing.
What do you like posting?
Like
peanut butter?
Right. Yeah. Like GIFs. Listen, technically they are GIFs, but
I don't care.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. I said a second ago, I am watching my footage as we talk. I literally just got to a part, and this is like the core Elden Ring experience for me. I went and tried to open a chest, and it was the room filled with smoke, and it teleported me to a different area.
Yes.
I fought my way out of that area, and then I came out of the cavern into a hellish
place. You did that too? You did that too? Oh,
yes.
Dude. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No. Yeah, those are like, people were asking if the mimics were going to be in this game. So yeah, the teleport traps, that's a new way to sort of scare the player. And they can go on, Alex. Tell us what happened.
I'm watching myself and like watching my gameplay right now, and I'm just checking my map like over and over, like looking around at this hell landscape, checking my map, and I'm on the opposite side of the world. And then I run back into the cavern and leave because I'm like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I'm sorry. I was just gonna say to AVA's point, like, there's like reward in the frustration with something like that, because you you kind of also get to see what's like in store, you know, like what's waiting for you out in the world, even if you're not ready for it. And I don't know, I just think there's something really exciting about that. I died a gazillion times in that area just trying to get out of that damn cavern.
But like, if you are willing to kind of go and explore, there are truly like so many curiosities. Like also the weapons and rewards and armor pieces that you can find just by doing the most random thing. It's awesome, you know. I don't want to give specifics because I don't want to spoil anything for people, but there are, if you will see so many things in the distance, and Dan's already mentioned this. Go check it out. Go see what it's about. If you can figure out how to maybe there's like a guarded, you know, caravan or something. Try to figure out what they're guarding. You know, I bet there's probably something there. And when you open that up, oh my gosh, like it's so good.
Alex, are you a From fan? Vanny, can you like a From fan before this?
It's complicated. Like I said, I've played several From games. The only one I've beaten was recently. That was Bloodborne, and I played it in anticipation of this game so that I could have a greater context for kind of understanding FromSoftware games. And I feel like that did help me, actually. I felt
I'm just trying to get a sense because I know, I mean, it feels like Dan was predispositioned to love this game because he loves From, but I was trying to
I feel like I'm in the middle somewhere.
People who
closer to beginner. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't totally like, I don't hate From games, but I've never fallen in love with them the way a lot of other people have. But hearing you guys talk about it, you're like, "Oh, this is the best game ever." I'm like, is this? It seems like this is somehow resonating with people who have not traditionally loved From games, which is exciting. But I'm also hearing you talk about it. I'm like, this just sounds like another From game. Like, I can't quite put my finger on what the difference is. It seems like you got to play it to really understand.
I think it's the number one, the quantity of rewards, and like I feel like there were definitely moments in Bloodborne, I can speak to that, right? Where I would go off the beaten path and find something really great. But I feel like Elden Ring just takes that concept and just amplifies it by 100. And then also the fact that the whole game can be a divergence if you want it to be. Like I felt like in Bloodborne there were like brief moments where like, okay, like I have to go this way eventually. Sure, there might be a couple secrets or spots here or winding paths to like take me somewhere else, but at the end of the day, I need to go back here to, you know, see the next thing. And Elden Ring, it is like Dan said, like you can go anywhere, and when you compile that with that idea of like we're going to reward you for your exploration, not just like with like, oh, here's some XP points for finding a new area. Like I'm going to give you really awesome rewards that somebody else might not ever find because you chose to go and open up this chest in this set of ruins. I don't know if that answers your question, Ben. I think
well, I mean, it's clear that you guys are effusive about it, but when you say like you can go anywhere, it's like that's something open world games have been doing for 20 years. So like that doesn't like really blow my mind.
Here's how it's because of the From formula prior to this was you have really awesome dungeons, right? But it's dungeon 1 connected to dungeon B and C, and you can go to B or C. Now you can go changing that formula to having their amazing level design and structure combined with this vast open space full of stuff to find really does change how the game is approached, because and especially for newcomers, if you get stuck on a boss in a Souls game, for instance, you have to figure out how to beat that boss or grind until you're big enough to kill it. Here, just go somewhere else. And I don't mean just go somewhere else for 5 minutes. I mean go somewhere else for 15 hours. And then you can come back and just destroy that boss. That's something you can't do in a Souls game.
Right.
And I think, Ben, the thing that this game does that other open world games don't do for me, I feel like, how do I articulate this? I'm not a big fan of open world games. I feel like I play a lot of them, but none of them really, even though that, like you said, it's standard fare to like be able to go anywhere in an open world game right now. Like in 2022, that's just like, that's an open world game. Yeah, you can go anywhere. I feel like the motivation, I have motivation to do so in this game that I don't in others. And I don't know if, I think part of it is the varied sites and encounters and all of that. Like the sheer epic scale of the encounters that you can discover. Like the side moments in this game feel like the main moments in other games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say something that'll probably get me in trouble. But in Elden Ring, you are exploring to survive. In other open world games, you're exploring some stupid hideout just because you want to get an achievement or something.
Hey, now
Nobody cares.
Who would you get in trouble with for saying that?
Nobody cares at the end of the day what you do at Bandit Camp 5, 6, or 7. Nobody, not even you. But in Elden Ring, you could find something that will change your entire play style. You never know. You never know what it's going to be. There is a true sense of wonder to that, and not just that you're going through the motions of completing an open world activity when you find a new location. And I'm not saying all open world games are designed that way, but I'm saying that is definitely a facet of open worlds where you have these are the 5 different activities you can do on the map if you want to do them, and nobody really cares if you do them.
And I mean,
there have been rewards.
The motivation to do them here is intrinsically tied to the FromSoftware base formula. Well, if you will.
And I guess I disagree with the idea that all open world games are like let you go anywhere, because technically that's right, but like Horizon, right? Horizon, I'm playing through it right now. You go way into the map, you're punished because you're facing a level 40 machine at level 15. There's no real reward there, where it sounds like this, and that's why Breath of the Wild was so great, right? Like, yeah, you'd run into a lion or lichen or whatever they were called, Lionel. Right? Lionel, thank you, Lionel Richie, and you would avoid it, but like there was some reward to that. There was some sense of discovery. There was a shrine there, right? And it sounds like this, even though I'm sure people are rolling their eyes at the Breath of the Wild comparison, right? It feels like it's more rewarding in that way, like Zelda was in 2017.
Podcast, we have to talk about Breath.
Exactly.
It gave me the Breath of the Wild feels like over and over again, but there were definitely moments where it exceeded that for me, I think.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of statement I hesitate to say because I've had a week to play this game, but.
It's also fair to talk about moments, right? There's moments in Horizon that supersede like Halo 3 for me. You know what I mean? Like moments are moments. Like you're not making.
Yeah, but like Elden Ring is full of those moments.
Yeah.
Like it is ridiculous.
I love that you guys are so excited about it. It just feels like a game I'm not really going to fully understand the enthusiasm until I actually play it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe that's.
I agree. It is an experience. It is an experience that. I mean, I would say has to be do it.
Just do it.
And of course, yeah. I know some people are going to be like, "Yo, Dan's just a From fanboy," but I hope that the other perspectives here can help flesh that out.
I am not a From fanboy.
No,
at all.
I have like 2 hours clocked into the whole series before this game. So,
and also, I mean, I did talk to Dan throughout this process. I talked to Jay like once. Like it's not like we're like, true. Yeah, it's not like we're like, dude, this game's so great, man. What do you think? Like we both played fairly separately from each other and both came to the same conclusion with wildly different experiences with this game and past games. Right? It is. I think that speaks to the potency of this experience. It's very good.
Cool. Quickly before we get off it, Dan, one question I did want to answer is combat more Dark Souls, Bloodborne, or Sekiro, or is it just a mishmash?
It's all of them actually together, which is interesting, right? You have Sekiro's posture system is there behind the scenes, and it's sort of getting away from the R1 spam and roll spam that has been a big part of Souls, as many Souls players know. So you'll be using jump attacks and charge attacks a lot more if you're going to be a melee combatant. And you can actually, again, you can build your own character. So you can take the Bloodborne quick step and add it to your kit through an Art of War. If you want to play it like you want to play Speed Demon, go ahead. You want to play the big and burly, you can do it. But all those combat systems are basically there and refined. It is basically a new amalgamation of multiple of their old, kind of systems. So it's new, but you'll feel at home if you've already played Souls stuff, but you'll have to change it up a little bit differently.
For sure. And then the last question I have, and I'll make a statement and you say yes or no and why quickly, Dan, here is Elden Ring is From's most approachable game. Yes or no?
I mean, there's no right way to answer this.
Maybe Jay should answer this. I don't know.
I mean, if anyone has an opinion, right?
I can't answer it.
Dan do it. Yeah.
The answer is yes, but not in the ways that that is, that the discourse is saying. It is not easier. You will be challenged. In the sense that it's the most approachable is that you do have lots of tools at your disposal. Whether or not you're willing to use them, that's up to you. And I hope that you do use them, especially if the FromSoftware games have intimidated you in the past. You stayed away from them for that reason. You've got spirit summons that can help you out a lot with bosses. You've got other players to call upon. Perhaps the most fundamental difference here that we've talked about a lot is that if you do get stuck at a challenging encounter, there are many other things for you to do. Right. It feels like an endless amount of things that you could be doing other than bashing your head against the boss. Also, when it comes to bashing your head against a boss, which is, that's going to happen eventually, right? There are none of those runbacks that people have complained about a lot for the series. You're right at that boss, ready to go again. Just get right back into the fight. Pick it up. Go, go, go. No running back through halls full of monsters. You're just back in the battle.
That honestly, it may sound dumb. That is one of the things I'm most excited about for this game.
No, it's a great quality of life improvement.
That makes me more excited than you can go anywhere. Like it's that's
there have been quality of life improvements that make it more approachable, but I don't want to mislead anybody. You will still be challenged.
We're talking about approachability, not accessibility, not difficulty, right? We're talking about are there quality of life things that make this a little bit more modern than some of the other stuff? And it sounds like the answer is yes. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I don't know if I'm sorry. It's been a long talk. I don't know if we've said this. The walk to bosses in most cases is very short. Like you don't have to I can think of one exception where like I had to trek across the map again to go and try my hand at that boss again.
But there's I can't remember what you call them, Dan, but there are checkpoints right next
to Stakes of Marika are near. I don't know what encounter Alex is talking about, but I cannot recall an encounter that I had to actually run back to. I always got to start right there.
Okay.
Then maybe I missed I might have missed a statue or a site.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Which is possible.
Yeah. Well, gang, I thought this was a fascinating discussion. If you want more, we have so much more. We did Elden Ring was our cover story last month. Time doesn't make sense anymore. So we have so much. I think it was last month, right? Yeah.
What is time?
What is time? Yeah. When you're listening to this in 2024, it won't matter anyways. But go to youtube.com, go to Game Informer. We have so much more Elden Ring stuff. We have a lot more to come too, which is exciting. We're just getting started, baby. So, contrary to popular belief, though, there are other games out besides Elden Ring that we're checking out. I know
what?
We moved Dan, right? We took him from his old apartment, put him in this new one, and just said you have to play Elden Ring, and that's all. So that
did happen.
Joe Biden's still the president. I don't know if you know that. Uncharted, the movie, made a lot of money. I don't know. There's a whole world out there.
Genuinely forgot that came out.
Yeah. But Ben, you got to play something besides Elden Ring, right? That you wanted to talk about? Yeah.
Something I was actually excited about. So move out of the way, Elden Ring. Here comes Far Changing Tides. This is a sequel to Far Lone Sails, which is I keep comparing it to Inside in Limbo. So it's one of those side-scrolling, pretty-looking, sort of atmospheric game, but it's not grim and macabre like Inside. But it does have some of those vibes where you're going from left to right and solving puzzles, basically solving atmospheric puzzles. And I like it. I don't think it's quite as polished as something like Inside, Limbo, but those games are hyper polished. So, if you played Far Lone Sails, you probably know what you're in for. Gimmick hook of this game and Lone Sails was now you have a vehicle. So in the last game you were managing this, it was like a land sled thing. And now you're in the water. So like that's the big big innovation. We're in water now.
Yeah.
You have a sail. You're trying to manage the wind speed, manage your sail. You eventually earn upgrades for your vehicle that lets you, have an engine and other things down the line. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it. 10 out of 10 is what I'm giving it. No, it's not quite Elden Ring, but it's in the 8s. I'm still finishing up the review. Again, if you like that first one, it's more of that game. So it's more Farland sales. It's pretty easy, bite size. You can beat it in a weekend if you want, type thing.
So when I hear the comparison to Limbo and Inside, right, that obviously the side scrolling comes to mind, but like, why I think those are some of the best games, in my opinion, are because of the story, right? I don't expect it to be that good, right? But is the story good in this? Like, is that something that you've been enjoying, or is it more about the puzzles that you're enjoying about this?
Definitely more of a tone piece. Like those other games we mentioned, it's all atmospheric storytelling, so there's no spoken lines of dialogue. You're a character, for the most part, you're just by yourself throughout this whole game, but the world sort of tells a story, right? There's clearly something happened with the world and things aren't quite right, and you're trying to journey from one place to find a presumably new home or something, right? So it's one of those, it's more about the vibe, atmospheric narrative than it is about the, quote unquote storytelling. It's a more chill, mellow game. Those feel like the wrong words because there are times where I was engaged in a puzzle that was, you're figuring things out. So it's a very active game, but there are moments also where you're just journeying across this sea and the game looks pretty and you're just kind of enjoying the atmosphere for a minute.
Okay, cool. Atmospheric storytelling, water. This sounds like Elden Ring to me. I don't know about y'all, but
your move, Miyazaki.
Yeah. Did you play it? This sounds like a really good Switch game. Where did you play it? Where is it available?
I played it on my PlayStation, but it is basically on everything. It's on Switch, Xbox, PC. So,
is that going to be your last review for GI?
It'll be my last review unless you have me guest review something else. I don't know. Probably won't happen, but yeah.
Actually, could you review Elden Ring for us? I don't know how we're going to cover that. Yeah. Okay. We'll go check it out. You said reviews coming to the site pretty soon?
Yeah, pretty soon. It might even be out by the time you're listening to this podcast.
Okay.
Got to finish it up. It'll be out this week for sure.
Cool. Okay. Good to know. See, there's other stuff out there. Alex J, do you have anything you've been playing that you want to talk about?
I've been playing outside of Elden Ring. The only game I've played for 2 hours is Neon White.
Yeah.
The new game from Ben Esposito. I think Annapurna is publishing this.
The Donut County guy, right?
This new game is a level-based platformer, FPS platformer, I would say. And you are in heaven. You are playing a demon named Neon White. The neons are these people that essentially are like going to heaven or hell. There's neons are angels, I guess. I don't know. You're playing as the white one, Neon White. There's neon yellow, neon red, and they all have like different characters and personalities, and there's sort of like a visual novel component. You can skip through that if you want. But yeah, so they are these short, like 30-second levels where you are parkouring and running and shooting and jumping and all sorts of stuff through this level. But your main mechanic, your main like movement is tied to cards. And so, for instance, the yellow card that you get, and these cards are like placed on the map. You don't start with them. You have to pick them up or loot them from the enemies you kill. For instance, the yellow one is a pistol. And so the pistol has like 6 bullets in it. And if you use all the bullets, the card is no longer in your hand. But if you can shoot it and save a bullet, and then you can discard the card yourself. And that card lets you jump. So you could jump twice you could jump midair, shoot an enemy, and click the button to throw away the card halfway in the air, and you'll get a double jump out of that.
Okay.
One card is like an LMG, and if you discard it, it throws a sticky bomb explosive that destroys groups of enemies, but you can also use it as a jump boost, like the Halo super jump, Halo rocket jump.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are these intricate, sometimes very simple, sometimes intricate, just levels of heaven, and you are trying to get to the checkpoint at the end with the best score possible. And so it has been an exercise in speed running and trying to beat my friends' scores on every map. Last night there's 4 of us on a call: me, Jesse Vitelli, Eric Van Allen from Destructoid. Okay, there's 3 of us in the call. I can't do math.
Yeah.
And we were all sitting there like beating each other's scores. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to the 6th level, and I think I've got a strategy for how I can shave off a couple seconds off my run. And then they would go back and beat the score I beat like 10 minutes ago, and it was a really fun speed running experience. And I think that is going to be the main draw to this game. Like, you are going to be replaying levels and trying to beat your best score. There are moments where it feels like Mirror's Edge. It is a weird game, a very weird game, and the card system is really it takes a second to get used to, but it is really cool. You know, prioritizing your path. Maybe you don't have to go the way that you think you do. Maybe there's another way around, because you run faster on certain surfaces, like water, you run the fastest on. And so maybe instead of going up, you know, this step to like get this enemy in his card, maybe I can skate around on the water, jump up, kill him real quick, get his card, and that'll shave off 3 seconds off my time.
Right.
It is that sort of experience. It's very stylish. It reminds me of like Devil May Cry in some ways, and like in terms of like its significance on like its attention to style. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is such a big part of the experience. But yeah, it's a platformer, FPS platformer. It's a weird game. Go check it out on it's on the Steam
Demo Fest. Yeah,
for sure. It's on. You can go and play it right now.
Cool.
It's a lot of fun.
There you go.
Neon white.
Nice. Quickly before we go, I know it's not as pressing as some of the other stuff, but I did want to talk about the fact that I have been playing Earthbound on Switch. That's right, folks. I'm not one of those guys on stream getting all excited for this, that, and the other thing and not playing it. No, sir. Actually trying it. And
Beginnings or
Earthbound. I talked to one John Carson of Game Informer, and he was like, I was like, do I have to play the NES Beginnings one? And he was like, no, just play Earthbound. So far, so good. I'm surprised at how well that game holds up, and I think having it on Switch Online has been nothing but a benefit, because I'm gonna stir some people up. Ready? The rewind feature works perfectly in that game. Oh my goodness. Because I'm like,
that's controversial.
Controversial, I know, right? Well, it's like you didn't actually beat the game in real life. It's like, no, don't give me that. So, the charm is still, you know, in your face there. Like, you know, I'm starting to understand why this is so beloved, right? Of a title, right? The music is still just perfect. Which I was excited. I was excited to see why this was the way it was. And, you know, normally, like when I look at like those original Dragon Quest games, right? And it's the combat is just your first person view of who you're fighting, and that's it. I'm like, nah, I don't have time for this, right? I'm not interested in this, but I don't know. I think it's because the characters are so quirky or how it handles it. I don't know. I'm into it in ways that I was like, okay, I may cruise around on it a little bit, but that's it. But like, I'm actually finding that I really, really am enjoying it for the combat, because the intrigue of the story, right? Because that's one where it's like, I don't know, other than me hating my friends playing Ness and Smash, like I don't know a ton about that story, you know? And so having it on Switch, having the rewind feature there, if, you know, to restart a battle, right? Or if I goofed an exploration and stuff, I'm really, really, excuse me, I'm getting emotional. I'm really enjoying it in a way that I guess I was fully ready to be like, okay, I get this, and then put it down. But I'm finding I'm ending my nights with it. Which I wasn't expecting, though.
It's a legit funny game, dude. I played it when that SNES Classic came out. I played it on that.
Yeah.
The rewind feature also worked nice on there.
Yeah.
But it's surprising that a game is what, 30 years old at this point?
Something like
crazy?
that. Yeah.
The humor holds up. Like, it's legit funny at times.
It's so quirky and weird.
Wacky quirkiness. Like, there's not other games like that.
Yeah. I had this dude just like run up. He jumped down from the top of a building, like ran up on me. We fought, and he's like, "Oh yeah, your princess in the other castle," or something like that. And then he just ran away again. I was like, what is happening in this silly game? There's zombies and there's bugs that are helping me. I don't know. It's a lot. So I will say, if you're like me and you want to learn more of the history of the JRPGs and, you know, how we got here and stuff, you know, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. So
it's a good history lesson to have.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like, it's not like going back and playing like Metroid, right? The original Metroid, where it's like, yeah, this is an NES game, you know.
I'm eating my vegetables here. I just want to see the origin of this legacy series.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, because it does have some quality of life stuff that I was surprised to have in it. Like there's a certain point where you're over leveled for an area, right? And you either the creatures or the enemies in that area run away from you, or if you do encounter them, because it's an overworld encounters, right? You don't even go into a combat menu. It just says you won, congratulations, here's your XP. So I was like, oh, there is some stuff that feels like a little bit more modern design in here, that I really appreciate. So yeah, that's my pitch.
Proud of you for playing a game that we got hyped for during a Nintendo Direct.
Doesn't always happen, my friend.
Imagine playing that game. Imagine playing that game when it came out.
See,
imagine that.
And see, that's the thing. Like, there's been a couple boss encounters where I was like, oh, I am way under level, but like I was able to use rewind and kind of grind a little bit in the area and then come back without having to restart the whole thing. So I'm very appreciative of that. So shout out to the Nintendo Rewind feature. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep going. Because that'll be a nice change of pace, especially when I do get to play Elden Ring. Don't have code yet, haven't played it yet. So I've been enjoying it. I'm gonna take a trip too, and that'll be a nice like plain game. So yeah, I'll report back when I beat it. But a nice surprise. I was excited because other people were excited and I knew the history of it, but now I'm actually enjoying the gameplay experience of it. So.
Good.
I know. First person in the history to recommend Earthbound, right? Breaking barriers
I'm glad
here.
somebody finally said it.
Right? It's been too long. We're going to take underrated. We're going to take a quick break and we'll get you to some housekeeping and community emails. Let's do it.
Welcome back to the Game Informer Show. Housekeeping time. This is the part of the show where we tell you what's going on in the world of Game Informer. Of course, we always start off housekeeping with a new podcast review. You can go and leave those over on Apple Podcasts or leave a rating over on Spotify if you're listening on mobile. This week's podcast review comes from Ricky Winterborn. It's a 5-star review saying, I listen to a lot of video game podcasts, but I think the GI show is consistently the best. I actually laugh out loud many times on episode due to the chemistry and podcasting skills of the editors on the show. Alex and Alex did a great job subtly reformatting the show and continue to be super fun hosts. Also, the music is fresh. I always fist pump to that first bass drop. Keep up the swag. Man, that is a great review, Ricky. Thank you. You've also reminded me of just how it's 2022 and somehow our show has brought back the word swag. It's truly an influential, you're
welcome,
media,
the world. You
yes.
better believe that.
Ricky, thank you for listening to the show and for leaving that kind review. We appreciate it. We've been climbing the charts lately. We're in the top 15.
Bro, we hit top 12 this morning. I saw that, and then we dropped to 15, but
because you looked,
I look, yeah. See, that's a problem, yeah. But no, y'all's support has been truly amazing, and we appreciate you very, very much.
Yes, sir. So thank you, Ricky. We appreciate you. Moving on, our weekly streams this week, we've got Elden Ring happening on Thursday. Dan's going to be answering questions. I think is John streaming with you, Dan?
I can't wait to answer questions. Yeah, it's going to be me and John tackling an all-day Thursday stream. So if you're listening to this right now, we're probably already been going.
Yeah.
Come on down.
Twitch.tv/Game Informer. Be there as well on Friday when they do Super Replay. Are you guys finishing up Star Wars? Is that the plan?
Friday, I think, is also going to be Elden Ring, but we'll see.
Oh, geez.
Okay. All right.
Sweet.
I mean, I think that's all we're ever going to play, like, pretty much forever.
That's it.
Did you not see the score, Alex?
I'm sorry, I saw it. So joining them on Friday as well for Elden Ring. And then multiplayer Monday, we could play multiplayer Elden Ring.
I was actually thinking about that. Yeah, we could do, yeah.
I know not a lot of people know about that, but that is that's a big thing in Souls games, like post-release, is to do like fight clubs and stuff. Some people I know just do that for like a year after launch or more, where they just stay in one location and just do various kinds of PvP. I'm not suggesting we do that, but maybe we could do.
I have a lot of PvP items to burn. So
okay.
Maybe.
We can figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
I mean, we could do it.
You know what? I'm very biased, but I want to do that Dead by Daylight 4v Dan
Okay.
Or
I still want to do that.
Okay. Yeah. That'd be good too.
Regardless, 9 a.m. Central is when we do multiplayer Monday. Twitch.tv/Game Informer, of course. Notable YouTube videos this week. If you're enjoying this talk in Elden Ring, maybe you haven't read the review or watched the review, go over to YouTube, youtube.com/Game Informer. We've got Elden Ring video features, our review. We got some guide coverage going up around launch. And we're going to be doing a beginner's guide, a couple guides for how to beat the first bosses if you happen to need them. Yeah, it's going to be a great time at youtube.com/Game Informer. Of course, follow everybody here on the socials. Follow Dan Tack. Tell him how great of a review he wrote over at Dan Tack. You can find Stadnick at Studnick76. Ben Reeves, tell him, wish him a warm goodbye at Benjamin Reeves. Follow Jay. Go and like his Sekiro tweet at Jason _
Keep boosting that thing. Yeah.
That's GUISAO. And you can follow me at It's Van Aken. Lastly, go listen to Video Gameography, all things Nintendo, and our new comic book podcast, From Panel to Podcast. Alex, back to you.
You do a good job with that every week. I hope you know that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but you get through it with ease, my friend, with ease. Listener emails, ladies and gentlemen, you know it. You absolutely freaking love it because it's the time of the show when you, the listener, get to write in and ask us how we're feeling, what we're thinking, ask us about games, movies, the world, the whole thing. So you can do that by writing into podcast@gameinformer.com, or you can hit us up on Discord, which, Alex, how do the good people do that?
Yeah, if you want to join the official Game Informer community Discord, head over to Twitch, throw us a subscription, tier 1 or Twitch Prime, whatever. You just got to do that one time, and that will get you access to our Twitch, or our Discord rather. Open up the Discord app, go to your integrations and your settings. Make sure your Discord and Twitch are linked, and our server should show up there. If you have any issues, email me, alexvanaken@gameinformer.com, just with proof that you subbed, and we'll get you in there.
Yeah, it's been good though recently, right? We had to reconnect.
Yeah, I've only
something
had one person in recent weeks.
Good.
Yeah, so
yeah,
all good.
And here's the thing, Dan, we're sitting there in the morning meeting one day, and Dan's just like, I need more people in this Discord. I love our group, right? I need more. I need more people to talk Souls with.
I do remember Dan saying this.
And this didn't happen.
He hadn't had his coffee that morning. But yeah, 6 to 8 hours of Elden Ring. You got to sub a little bit, right? I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but come on. So let's get it going here. A lot of Reeves questions, obviously, this week. So we'll start with one from our sweet moderator, Zach Pliggy, over on Discord, and says, does Ben plan to write or release any more novels? So you're a bit of an author over there, my guy, right?
A bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote a novel called Kill Screen, published years ago. It's actually set in the world of video game development, which I know a lot about now. So it's a fun, I don't know, murder mystery. It's kind of weird and hard to describe, but check it out. It's called Kill Screen. I think it's good. I actually did write another novel. It's a bizarre detective, like choose your own adventure thing that I haven't published yet because I'm not sure it's great. So hit me up at Benjamin Reeves if you're interested. Maybe we could do something with it. I don't know.
Yeah.
At the very least, I could use some people to proof it. Tell me if this thing's too stupid.
Okay. Do you have any other kind of stories you're kicking around in your head right now, or are you just focused on, now telling stories for Firaxis?
I did. I kind of realized when I wrote the first book, I was like, this was fun, and I liked being able to control the narrative. I think I like video games as a medium more, and I like comic books as a medium more. So if I do more fiction writing, it'll probably be in those arenas. I do have some comic ideas that I would love to someday do. So you never know.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Well, there you go, Zach. Zach Pliggy can publish it for you, I'm sure.
Zach, reach out if you got some connections.
Yeah, with his IT background. This next one comes from Rock Party. And this is a question for the group, but obviously inspired by one Ben Reeves. He says, question for the panel. Working for Game Informer, what has been your favorite piece and which has been the most difficult? Ben, you kind of answered that already, right? Your favorite
We
piece.
talked about it earlier.
Yeah.
There are questions that aren't just about me, right? I don't have to be this.
No, this is for everyone.
This is your episode, Ben. Come on.
I was gonna. I would highlight if people want to read something. People still read things these days.
Yeah.
One of my favorite articles was written probably 10 years ago at this point. So I don't know. I think I've grown a lot as a writer in 10 years, but I think the article was still good. It was called Why We Play. It's now online. So if you just search Why We Play Game Informer, it'll come up. And it just dives into answering that question. Like, there's a lot of discourse about like, are games good for you or bad for you? But I just want to know, like, what drives us to video games in the first place? And they sort of scratch some different, they call them mental needs or sociological needs. It was 10 years ago. I can't remember. Yeah, it's cool that video games actually tap into stuff that we're just sort of like, as humans, designed to desire these things. And it's a bit kind of like perfect work, if that makes sense. It's a pretty deep article. And then the other one would be, I wrote a thing on Flash games, a history of Flash games. So if you search for the history of Flash, Game Informer, that one was actually super interesting, talking about Flash as a game development tool and just people like Super Meat Boy creator Edmund McMillan, people like him who grew up in that scene and have gone on to find fame and fortune in the video game development world. Just in the indie space alone, there's so much wealth of creativity that I don't think we would have had without Flash games. So yeah, I mentioned some videos earlier, but there's some written things if you're interested in checking stuff out. I really enjoyed working on those pieces.
Yeah. Yo, addictinggames.com back in the day. Armorgames.com. Whew.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wait.
What?
Remember that Lifesavers golf game, Candy Stand? That thing was the best.
I don't know if I remember that one.
Because y'all too young. Never mind.
Yeah. Cool. But I mean, like
the Flash tower defense type stuff, or there was one that
Bloons.
was a lot like Mushroom Wars.
Yeah.
Predated Mushroom Wars, if you remember that.
Well, wasn't Alien
Bloons? Yeah.
Bloons was great. Wasn't Alien Hominoid originally a Flash game?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I talked to the creators of that.
Yeah.
About his history doing that, and then they went on to do Castle Crashers and a bunch of other stuff.
Yo, that was the best. Going to school, right? You get on the Mac that isn't quite up to snuff on the band website list or whatever. So then you go play Armor games and that kind of stuff. And yeah, those are the days. So nice. Does anyone else, Dan, you've been here a year or two. Do you have a favorite thing you've worked on?
It's been 84 years. Honestly, I do think my favorite and most challenging one was the same piece, and that was Dark Souls 3 cover story. That was I'm not going to go through the whole story here. It takes a whole podcast to tell that story. But essentially, it was a very challenging tale because things changed over the course of that one. I'm sure we've told the story before, but it was a very challenging piece to do given the time frame and the conditions of working it out with all of the elements that were in place. But yeah, more on that available in the Dark Souls 3 cover story itself. We addressed it in that issue, or you can go and hit me up anytime to tell that tale again, because I feel like I tell it every month or so. So, but yeah, that would be my piece that I'm very proud of, that we made an awesome story out of that, out of something that could have been a complete disaster.
For sure.
So it was also quite a challenge.
Yeah. Nice. Jay, how about you?
Sure. For a favorite piece, I guess I would say it's between the Miles Morales piece I wrote my first year here back in 2020 for the mag. I just moved it over to the online side for Black History Month, and I'm really proud of that piece. That game, I don't know, really spoke to me, like sort of seeing myself and like where I grew up in a game and being able to be like, one of the most famous superheroes of all time. I don't know, it really spoke to me when I was first writing that. And also my other favorite piece is probably my Tales of Arise review. I don't know, it probably I think it's the highest score I've given. Not that I've been here forever and have written 1,000 reviews, but like I really loved that game, and I didn't think I would get a chance to review it. So it was just really exciting to have that opportunity. But I would say the hardest story is probably the one I'm working on right now for Elden Ring. My impressions as like a noob, because I don't know. I want to make sure that I do it justice, because it's a huge game. It's a really great game, and I don't have a lot of experience with it. But it's also a game I love, and I'm having fun with it. So yeah, hopefully that story goes well. It'll be out later in the week. So.
It will. It will, because you're working on it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
AVA, how about you?
Hardest. We'll do that first. Hardest is probably just my most recent video essay, the one on Deathloop. Just because I don't know, I'm dumb. I'm a dumb person and decided to make it more difficult on me. And also just like trying to figure out like how that game works. And I wanted to do it justice and actually, not sound like a dingus while talking about that game design, trying to break it down. And also it's just very time consuming. Lesson learned on that because did not do well. And then my favorite piece I've made at Game Informer is my No Man's Sky video that I did in February of 2021. And it's just how base building saved that game. And it's about a 10-minute video, video essay style. It's probably, it is the piece I'm most proud of. I think I was concise, but had a really, a point that I hadn't seen made before, talking about that game and how it came back. And yeah, that type of video represents what I like to make the most. And I felt like I did a great job on it. And I'm really proud of it. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out because that video seems to be relevant every other month whenever they put out new base building stuff for that game. But yeah,
for real, cool. Yeah, for me, I think the hardest one was probably actually most recently the Halo Infinite cover videos that we did, and similar to Dan, right? There was some stuff, that we were working through behind the scenes where, pieces were moving at the last second and, it was hard to get that down. But also I think it was the personal connection to it, right? Like Halo, if you've listened to the show, right, I'm a big Halo fan, what it means to me as a gamer, why I'm here today, like that kind of stuff. So it's like putting that extra pressure on myself to do something great also made it more difficult, right? Because then I would nitpick edits. I would think like, is this the best kind of content and that kind of stuff? And luckily I had a good team around me to reassure me and to like, give me feedback and that kind of stuff. So that was really helpful. But I was like, this is what I got in the industry for. So I want to try to knock this out of the park. And I think for the most part we did. There was some really good stuff that came from that cover story. I think
get him, Alex. Man, you inspired me right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tiger.
Yeah. And I think that's my best cover trailer that I've done is the Halo one. I was so hyped when I made that one. So yeah. I think my favorite thing I've ever done, and I think it's because I did the Jeff Kaplan rapid fire, which was really fun. A lot of the Resident Evil stuff did really well, and I enjoyed making that. I think my favorite thing I've done at GI was the Animal Crossing New Horizons Island Tour video. And it totally, it bombed, right? It did 2,000 views or whatever. But I just loved making it because it was almost the entire staff who played Animal Crossing, right? So we worked with production, we worked with, editorial, the whole staff. And it was just it was me, Cork, and Leo, right? So, when you have those two in the digital room doing that, it was just funny and goofy and weird. And it was just it kind of encapsulated the warmth and happiness of Animal Crossing, especially because that was early pandemic days, right? So it's there wasn't a lot of hope anywhere. So the fact that we got to go just bop around in each other's islands, and hang out and just record it, it was so much fun. And there's so many people on staff who are incredibly talented at that game too. So we'd walk in and we'd go to Mags's island, right? And it was Nirvana, or Xanadu or whatever, you know what I mean? It was just this paradise. And I don't know, it was just a lot of fun. And then God bless Shay. We were coming off these master class of islands, right? And we get to Shay's and he hadn't spent as much time in his, and he was just I remember we got to the boxing ring he put in the island. He's like, yeah, because I like boxing. And there was kind of a pause, and he's like, "What do you want from me?" I was like, "This is incredible." So if you're at all interested, Reeves, I think we went to your island. Did you play? No, you don't play Animal Crossing. Yeah, we did not go to your island.
Interestingly enough, I did buy it because I have a road trip coming up.
Ooh,
moving across the country, and I'm like, Is now 2 years after the time to get into Animal Crossing? Sure, that seems appropriate.
Sounds about right. The anniversary. Might as well.
Yeah, so ask me in another month or two. I'll probably have an island you can visit.
There you go. Well, that's what you'll be bugging us on Slack for. Hey guys, come to my island.
Hey, why are people playing Animal Crossing with me?
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, go check that video out. Go check out everything we just talked about because we all put a lot of heart and soul into it, and as we do with a lot of things here, we like our jobs. So, let's see. We answered. Oh, here's a good one. Biscuits with Davey over on Discord says, Ben, what is your best Benvention from your time at GI? Do you want to explain, if we have new viewers, do you want to explain what a Benvention is first?
I forgot this was a question. Yeah. I just have a list on my phone of things that I've kept for 10, 15 years of like, hey, that'd be a fun thing to invent maybe. So for example, the Pootie, that's a pillow / hoodie. So it's like a hoodie with the hood has a pillow built into it. It should be great for like road trips and stuff. So I'll come up with these inventions. I think Jeff Cork, I got to give credit to Cork for coming up with the name Benvention. But man, my best one, good question. One of them is Pooretzels, which is pretzels that look like poop. Just like a fun thing.
What?
Wait, can that even be considered an invention?
I mean,
it's like a differently shaped pretzel.
TM, it's mine.
Yeah.
You can have it. Yeah. You can have it.
So wait, is it actual poop or is it an actual pretzel?
No, it's a pretzel that just looks like poop. People love the poop emoji. People love things that look like poop, but
God,
they do love to eat poop like things. You ever start your culinary empire, your title has to be Papa Pooretzel.
Yeah.
Papa Pooretzels. Yeah. I also have like fruity parables, which be like
self-explanatory
soup. Yeah, they're just parables that are in a cereal. Exactly. So it's a egg-shaped ruler. Exactly. Yeah, that one's. But one of my favorites was
what
is Van Aken just out of here?
Yeah.
Is he sending ideas?
Later.
Yeah, he's actually going to the patent office.
I'm going to the patent office. Yeah.
One of my favorites was always Joe Nuts, which it's a donut with, it looks like it's shaped like a tiny little cup. So it's like a slider sized donut that you can put espresso in. I call it the Joe Nut.
Okay.
I think that could work. I think somebody
could
start a
food.
God, that's maybe your best one.
People dip their donuts in coffee, do it reverse. Yeah, I see where you're coming from on that one.
Hey, you'll get a cup of yo and a donut.
Yeah.
Donuts.
Wow.
Are you sure you're not becoming an entrepreneur and just going and inventing these?
Yeah. If somebody wants to call some entrepreneur with a lot of money, I have ways to spend it.
That's why you can't talk about what you're doing next, right? Because you don't want to get
I shouldn't have said this. I've said that already.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, you want to get a cup of yo?
Yeah.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yo. It's Joe, but we're
cup of yo.
Get that, we're talking here.
I'm talking here.
Hey, no bad ideas.
No bad ideas, right? I swear to God, if in XCOM 6 there's a cup of yo in it, we'll know that Reeves is thriving over at Firaxis. So
here's one. It's called D-Numb. It's denim pants that numb your body.
Those are just skinny jeans. What? If your jeans are skinny enough.
I'm sorry. Wait, what is the mechanism by which they numb your body? Like stingray poison? What is it? Is it just jellyfish? What do we got in there?
I have a note on here that says great for motorcycle rides and naps.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah, because they're really
uncomfortable pants. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, that's incredible. To keep with the questions for Reeves. Sorry, Ben. This is just the way this is going here.
I'm not coming back after this.
Yeah. You all
leave this treatment.
He's burning all the bridges today.
Yeah.
A couple of
hey. Bobby Buell, the legend himself, writes in on Discord. It says, "Questions for Reeves. Question for Reeves. Are you like a spider nut?" The first one.
Wait, did Hanson tell him some story? We were at because Hanson always says this because we were at a bar once and our waitress had a like spider tattoo or something, and I was like, "Oh, hey, nice tattoo." And I think it maybe kind of looked like the Spider-Man symbol. So I was like, "Oh, are you like a spider nut or something?" I was just kind of like curious about her tattoo. Hanson thought that was super funny. I'm curious if Bob Buell got that from him, is what I'm asking.
I wonder if if he had him on 99 Questions, which is Bob's podcast, which you should definitely go listen to. I wonder if he talked about it on that. But Bob, if you're listening, let us know where you got that one from. So, but then he goes on to say, "But for real though, gonna miss him at GI and his specific brand of street comedy, but wish him all the luck. Firaxis is lucky to get him." Actual question this time. Any Ben Reeves standout moments for replay or super replay?
Is this a question for me or
for you? Else? Yeah, I guess if anyone has a favorite Reeves moment, but yeah,
we could broaden it to like what's your favorite replay moment. But yeah, I think Sonic 06 was a lot of fun. We came up with this. I just like improving. So there's, gosh, I can't even remember which replay it was where the bizarre detective character was born. It might have been a Metroid one, a really early replay. So that was fun. But then also in the Sonic 06, we had this recurring bit where the devil would show up, and we named him the was his first name. So
Mr. Devil.
It's hard to explain a joke again to somebody else, but Sonic 06 was a lot of fun, just how terrible that game is. But we had fun doing it.
There you go. That's what matters. Yeah. I think out of the ones I've been on, I think the Spore episode was my favorite. That I think you were on that, Ben, where we played Spore and just made like crazy butt monsters. And I think Juba was on it too. And I think that's
how you play Spore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that too was like, I was starting to finally figure out the tech, right? And we were feeling more comfortable with the tech from streaming from home too. So it felt a little bit more comfortable compared to like, Dan, do you remember the Demon Souls replay episode that we did in the pandemic?
No.
Oh, well, I literally, it was a whole nightmare to set up because turns out PS3s don't play well with Elgato.
No, now I remember.
Yeah. I think that's the first time you ever heard me curse. It was a whole thing. It was not good.
That was a nightmare.
It was. But
that's why I forgot about it.
Yeah, you repressed it. But yeah, I don't know. Jets, any favorite replay moments for you?
Mine's probably Murder House, which Ben was on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was
a good one. So anytime anybody's on and scared of stuff, that's kind of fun. And you guys were really good about being scared.
Yeah, I hate horror games. But that was a fun experience, and I'm glad I stuck through it to the end. And then there was also like we briefly played some of their other games at the end of the episode.
Oh yeah.
The Nun House.
The nurse thing. Yeah, I got a couple of good clips like that on the channel from you screeching.
Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah. You screeched, my friend. It is loud.
I think I actually tapped out the only too.
Yeah. Yeah. Jay, you've been on a couple, right? Not a ton.
Yeah. I can't even like remember, dude. I feel like I've been on a handful of like video stuff. I mean, I can do like a favorite Ben moment though. I don't know if you probably don't remember this, Ben. I don't think you remember this, but
I have a bad
yeah. I was an intern and we went to get lunch, and I remember we got lunch at like, I don't know, it was like 11 a.m. And when we got back to the office, when we parted, we both said, "Have a good night." But it was like 12 noon on the dot. I don't know. I just remember that. It was really awkward, but very funny. we were both like, "Have a good night, man." It's like,
I like
the sun is like midday. Yeah, no, it's really, I think about it sometimes, how funny that was.
Keeps you up at night.
Yeah. If you weren't hired at GI, I guarantee you'd sit up at night. You're like, "That's why I never got to go back." That moment right there.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
If you hadn't showed up the next day, I would have known why.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, gents, as much as I don't want to end the show, I think that's a good way to do it. So, Ben, thank you for everything. I know our community also feels the same way. We're lucky to have been able to work with you, to have you on shows and that kind of stuff. So, we're excited for the next step, though, like we said earlier.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure. And stuff like this, just recording podcasts where people talk about me all the time.
We're not going to stop now. I'm gonna get a Ben shrine over there. It's going to be a cup of coffee and a pair of pants and
a Jonah.
My pants, yeah.
Yeah. Just
numb. But seriously, stuff like this and replays and stuff like that's always been. It's a fun job. When people would ask me what I do, I would always say like, "Oh, I play video games for a living," which is not really true because I mean I do, but like most of my job is doing other things than playing video games. But honestly, some of that other stuff is more fun than reviewing a game. So I'll definitely really miss that. And just GI has been an awesome place to work. It's as cool as you think it is, and maybe more. So thanks for the ride, guys. I wish you well. You guys are going to do amazing things. I can't wait to view GI from a distance as a consumer again.
For sure. Well, I don't know how to end it better than that, but yeah, we'll miss you, man. So,
sure.
Viewers, listeners, we appreciate the hell out of you. Thank you so much for making this ride so much fun. Best is yet to come, we can assure you, but be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Those subscriptions help more than you know. So definitely throw us some of that if you like the show. So be good to one another. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.